Welcome back, Strollin and Trollin. Who knows what episode it is? What I do know is that Tyler is in person.
I've been kidnapped. Send help.
We're going to do something stupid today, so we decided to do an in-person podcast.
Yeah, it was my idea to do a podcast this week because some big developments happened that I think is worth talking about on the podcast. But yeah, we're sitting in person. It's a pretty nice setup. It's having a good time. Nice glass of water.
Living the dream. We're about to make something stupid, which will be a video that'll come out later on Tyler's channel.
Hell yeah.
You'll know what it is as soon as you see it. We're planning out movie marathons and just a bunch of other random shit today. Just kind of hanging out.
It's been fun so far. It's not even close to over because we haven't even...
Nope. We still have a couple more hours, like 3 more hours.
Oh, whatever. However long we'll be here, but... oh, what's this? Who's this guy? Hello. Got the Legos all behind here. It's awesome.
Anyway, Tyler, big development.
Yep. I am jobless on the unemployment portion of the percentage of the American workforce for the first time in 2 years, which is crazy.
He quit his shitty job.
Finally did. Yep. Not gonna stay unemployed forever because YouTube's eventually gonna take off. No, I'm getting a job on campus in the fall. Don't quite know what that's going to look like yet, but it's gonna happen. But I get about a little bit over a month to bust out a ton of content, go out and hang out, and just enjoy the rest of the summer beforehand. And hopefully my new job will be a little bit better as far as hours and schedules and stuff like that, so we can continue to go out and do a bunch of fun stuff as September, October rolls around, shit like that.
Right, we gotta go hunt turkeys for real this time.
But now I'm not authorized, but I'm able to tell a bunch of the stories that I've been waiting to tell, or I can elaborate on stories that happened at where I worked for the longest time, because now I don't work there anymore.
Are we naming the place?
We call it Kroger. I mean,
It's Kroger.
About a month from now, there will be a video coming out, stories from there that I did on my channel. It doesn't cover all of them. I saved some for here and actually promoted this podcast episode in that one. Not because I forgot the stories to tell, but just because I wanted to do that. No, I don't forget about these stories. That's totally not what happened. But let's get down into it.
Like the one time where that lady pulled her pants down in front of you in Kroger and then you ate her ass?
Fuck no. That never happened.
I'm sorry. It never happened. That was a lie.
Yeah. Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay. Well, I say that did not happen.
Allegedly.
The fumes in there were pretty strong, so I may not remember everything, but...
to be fair, I wasn't there when Tyler ate that lady's ass. Eli saw the whole thing, though.
Get him on this podcast for a second perspective. We've already had him on.
One day we'll tell that story. We'll tell it on Tyler's Love Stories.
God, fucking...
Which we still have to talk about.
Oh, God. It's still in
this podcast is lined up perfectly so that the next Valentine's Day we will be talking about your love life.
God. Yeah.
So I hope you're ready. Because that will happen.
Hopefully by February I'm ready. So, but now, is there any good stories that you want to hear? Tell? Because there's some on my YouTube channel I did not tell that I wanted to tell. There's one in particular I remembered.
Tell me.
Well, the day the power went out, we had one power outage.
Ah, yes. 5th grade. That was crazy. They sent us home. I convinced Levi that it was a ghost. Me and Wesley convinced one of our longtime friends, Levi, that a ghost had haunted our school. And it's actually the bucket ghost that we convinced her that did that.
That's a fucking scam now that I think about it, because it was just a way for them to excuse the fact that they had a pipe leak or a water leak and they just didn't want to replace it. So they made that shit
I think it
up.
was the roof. I think it was a roof leak, because then they replaced the roof and I think the bucket disappeared.
Maybe I haven't been back there forever.
Anyway, for anybody who doesn't know, which most of you should, considering it's just me and Tyler that watch this thing, the bucket ghost was in our middle school, and basically there was just a locker with a bucket on top of it. And I don't remember what the story is, but I remember them saying like a kid died, like he fell into a bucket and died or something. I don't know. But anyway, so they kept telling us there was a bucket ghost, and it spread like wildfire while we were there. The bucket ghost story.
They always told everybody and stuff like that. I met that one. I saw that one guy. Who was the guy that came in? He did all like the stupid inspirational stories or whatever about like exercise and shit. I don't even remember. He was like the
Mr. Bright B. Who started with a B.
Yeah, Brighton,
Mr. Brighton.
Yeah, I saw him.
His son killed himself.
Oh shit!
Do you not remember him telling us that story?
No.
That was fucked.
That is fucked.
Anyway, he just recently retired.
Oh, I saw him at work before I left.
He used to work there, and we watch Stop, Name Your Feelings, Calm Down. And we watched a bunch of those weird videos. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do.
You know,
Nobody liked them.
It was the beginning of, the okay to say bullshit, but it was just videos from the 90s where they tell you it's okay to talk about your feelings. Which is why we started a podcast. No, but anyway, that middle school was a wild ride. We weren't even friends in middle school. I don't even know if I ever saw you in middle school.
I probably did see you. I just don't remember it.
It was me and Wesley the entire 2 years. And Levi. I played a lot of Minecraft with Levi. And Aiden Richardson.
Oh, God.
One of my oldest friends.
No, those were good times. Especially 6th grade was a lot of fun.
Before the dark years.
Yeah, before we went to
junior high
days, those were dark and not
the beginning of our friendship.
Well, 8th grade was really not really 7th.
No, not really 7th.
Because we rode the bus, so that kind of was the start of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we walked home,
and then
this happened. And now here we are.
Here we are doing a podcast, missing the other 2 members that should also be here, Simon and Sean.
Yeah. Oh well.
How the fuck are we supposed to get Sean's number now? You don't work at Kroger.
We could get inside sources.
Who?
You
I don't know him.
You don't know what he looks like.
I don't have his phone number.
I don't either.
You should have asked him, man.
I didn't
You've
get
seen
the
him
chance.
so many times.
I
You should
didn't
have
get
asked
the
him
chance.
for like a Discord or
All
something.
I can do when I'm waving, hi, I can't say, hi, Sean, from halfway across the store.
Hi, Sean. Join my Discord.
No, hi, can you get my phone number? Join Pringleton and Company, or I talk shit about my job, and that will get me fired.
Well, it's not going to get you fired, though.
Not anymore.
Because you don't work there.
This is what you get when we're in person. I can do all these over-the-top reactions and shit.
You could do that at your house,
I know I
too.
can, but better environment here.
But anyway, Sean, if you're watching, we love you. Please come on our podcast. We miss you.
Get a YouTube
channel. Brother in Christ. Yes, get a YouTube channel. You too, Simon. We can get our diversity numbers up.
Alrighty.
One white guy and one red guy.
Tomato. Funny enough, because they're fucking bitching up there about tomatoes on Christmas right now. The Peppa Pig you put on the TV.
I went to go do dishes and chores, and because I didn't want to leave Tyler with nothing, I turned on Peppa Pig for him, which apparently works really, really well, because he was laughing about half the shit.
So dumb! There's a potato with a breadcrumb flying through space with broccoli and carrots flying everywhere, and then like, ooh, so what do we do now? And then they're like, do something! And then there's like 4 rabbits with all the same name coming, nom nom nom, eat all the carrots up, and then they just go to Texas for no reason. The whole show is literally in reverse. Like every 10 minutes, they would have to literally restart the episode and then play it back from reverse.
So I left Tyler with Peppa Pig while I did the dishes. Anyway. It's been a weird day. Anyway, Kroger, stop.
So the one time, February, this is back this February, the power went out, right? coming into work that day, I did not know the power was out, but I
Oh
crashed.
yeah, 5th grade. I remember. No, I'm not doing that again.
I crashed my car into a snowbank coming into work that day. Funny story. So I'm driving, right? And I pull into the thing. It was an icy day, but I was like, all right, I could do this. I've done this before. And I turned the car, and like I go in the back way, so I turned back into there, and the car turned, it slid, the auto traction control comes on, and it just keeps sliding, and sliding, and sliding, and sliding. And eventually...
I remember that day. I do remember that day.
Eventually, I hit the snowbank. Thankfully, it did not do really any damage to my car, and I was able to get out.
Do you remember, this reminds me of when we were both in college in the winter. Do you remember that Jeep that was parked like 10 feet up in the air?
Snowbank at like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
And then I tried to do it, and my car almost got stuck because I don't have a fucking Jeep.
That's what that reminds me of. But anyway, the power went out. I remember because the freezers, that's shit, bro.
Well, yeah. Then like I walk into work and I completely forgot about what happened to my fucking car because the power was out. I walk up to the door, it says, "Store's closed. We have no power." And I almost turned around and just went back home after that. I'm like, well, there's no point in me coming in to work. There's nothing to do, right? Well, no, I go in, and there's a bunch of employees in there. Actually, there wasn't many. I couldn't find anybody. Somewhere in the deli, like, they were taking all the cold stuff off the shelves, and I found my manager.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you should stay. And then somehow the time clock was still working, so I was able to clock into my shift just fine. And then I just basically took stuff off the shelves, then we deep cleaned the shelves that were empty. And then we did a few other things. And then eventually, we decided not to take stuff out of the freezers because we were out of room in the cold storage areas, a.k.a. the outside portion, because it was the middle of fucking February and it was like 22 degrees outside. So they made us put dry ice in the fucking freezer. And guess who had to do that shit? Me. Completely unexperienced with anything of that sort. And I had to do it.
Doesn't help really, because, you're not really experienced in most of the shit you do, let's be honest here.
I had to learn it all for myself. I got 1 day of really solid training. I mentioned that in the story video. You'll see that when that comes up. I got 1 day of really real training.
Look at how fucking buff my arms look. What the fuck is up with that?
Anyway,
it was just so fucking
basically
weird.
I had to put the dry ice in the fucking shelves and did that for like an hour.
Guys, bent cheese is now online.
So, that was fun. Then I had to take it all out. And then the store reopened when we got power back, and I had to take all the dry ice out of the shelves, and customers were literally touching the dry ice. So we almost got sued.
It doesn't matter. Fuck them.
So
It's
I
their
had to take
fault.
care of that.
Who gives a fuck?
I was taking care of that.
Not them, apparently.
That was like half my shift gone that day, so
Yeah.
it really didn't fucking matter. But that was a wild day. I forgot to talk about that in the story video. There were a few others I forgot. I can't remember them off the top of my head.
Well, there was. Did you tell them
No,
one?
I took a glass shower. I did not talk about the glass shower.
You didn't talk about. That's the one I was just about to bring up.
The glass shower. So, back last summer, not this summer, last summer, we had a huge epidemic where there were people.
It's called COVID. I'm sure you've heard about it.
That's a pandemic. This is an epidemic. Basically, what was happening is with our bottle bins, this is still present even today, even with the new machines and everything, but you have to, when you put the side pieces into where the bottom pieces are, you lock them on the bottom so that they stay together. Nobody was doing that. They were leaving them unlocked because they didn't realize, there's nobody there to fucking train them on what to do. And so then I couldn't train them, but then people weren't figuring it out, and so they weren't being locked. And so then we had to literally lift the sides up. When we did that, we had to scoop all
the sides.
I basically had to scoop everything out of the bin that we could. The rest we would take the side piece off, throw it off to the side, dump the rest out, sweep it up, and put it in the bin. It was like a 45-minute process to get that done, depending on how much there was. Plastic and cans were very frequent, but they were not that hard to do.
Glass in my hair. There was glass in my hair. What a weird thing to be talking to
Speaking-
find out right now.
Well, we're moving into glass. When the glass one,
And that's called a segue.
when glass happened, when it happened with
When
glass,
glass happened in 1880 BC,
when it happened,
they
with
took
glass,
some sand, they threw it on a campfire, and then they were like, shiny, shiny, shiny. And then one of them touched it, and it burned them, but it left an imprint of their face. And then after the fire went out, there was this glass replica of their face, and they thought it was a god. They called that god Pringleson.
That's right, baby.
And here he is today, ranting about bottle returns in Kroger. How the mighty have fallen.
Anyway,
Speaking of falling,
falling on me. Yes.
That's what the story is.
No, basically what happens with the glass one, I didn't know how to do it. I had to take the bin. One filled up. I had to take it to the back because it wasn't locked. And so I was scooping them into a new bin back there just so I could discard customers. Wasn't doing that good. Glass is super fucking heavy and it was breaking and it was, all this kind of stuff. So the the guy who does all the receiving shit in the back and stuff, his name's Adam.
name's Jonathan.
Cool. His name's Adam. It's really actually pretty cool.
Adam Janicki?
He decided to...
Hold on, I'm getting a call from Deidre Brinkman. I'm not going to answer that. Welcome, you're live on the Strollin. No, I'm done with that, B. If we get a voicemail, I'll play it.
Anyway, he had the great idea of lifting the bin onto our massive pallet jack. Like, not the little ones that can lift stuff pretty high up, the ones that can lift stuff, like, really high up in the air, which I had to work with on my last day, and I'll get to that in a minute. But, so then he lifts it all the way up, then we take the side pieces off, and then...
The sides!
And then he takes a shovel and brushes the glass off of the bottom part of the bin. And it all starts just raining on top of me. I don't know why I didn't move. I just stood there with my mouth shut and my eyes shut. Just glass just falling on top of my head and around my sides, breaking on the ground.
The sides! The sides!
And then we had to take care of that. And that, surprisingly, didn't really hurt that much, but still.
Well, actually, it did hurt a lot, and he got knocked unconscious. He just doesn't remember it. And then I get a new freaking forehead.
And then I fucking spent, an hour cleaning up all the glass and stuff. Really weird experience. Anyways, on my last day, I blew up a 12-pack of Baja Mango Gem and a 4-pack of Bang energy drink with the massive pallet jack I was just talking about. I literally just moved it forward a little bit, right? And there was a damaged box of Baja Mango Gem just sitting there. I'm like, well, it's going to move it around, maybe put a dent in the box or whatever. No, all I see... goes forward, boom, it just blew up. And then I go forward a little bit more, boom, another one goes up. It was so funny. And a Pepsi worker standing right there watching one of his product just go up and exploding because of me. He's like, all right, it's fine, it's just damaged anyways.
I can hide my glasses in my hair. Where'd they come from? Nobody knows.
The Fly.
What?
That's a reference to a movie marathon tomorrow.
That's a reference to something that hasn't happened yet.
No. Those were a couple wild experiences I didn't talk about in the story video. I got a ton of stories. There's stories I'm not going to tell on podcast or on video because they involve people.
Well, you can
specific people.
replace the names. If they're
well,
really good stories.
It's like gossip type shit. It's not like stuff you really want to talk. It's not really.
I'll gossip about people if you gossip about people. We just don't have to
we
use
can
their
talk
real
about
names.
when I got accused of workplace discrimination. Okay.
I knew it! Closeted Republican. We all knew it, and he just confirmed it. Closeted Republican. Like in Miffrey, I know you're watching. You're probably not watching. You're gonna be watching. I'm gonna clip. Somebody clip that. Clip that. Closeted Republican. Workplace discrimination. He's racist.
No, it was a false accusation.
You're racist. Shut up.
It was a false accusation. I'll give you a glass shower.
What the? I hope that's not a sexual term. That's a really bad thing to take out of context.
Anyway,
it's like happy tapioca.
this was fun. I think I mentioned this in the video, but I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more on here. It was a 4-hour shift, but it felt like a 10-hour shift because everything that happened during that shift.
What about the time? We should talk about the time you got run down by a robber.
I mentioned that in the. I'll talk about that one next, but
yes, talk about you being racist.
shut the fuck. It was not racist. First of all, she accused me of being sexist, and every way,
That falls even more in line with your character.
every way, shape, and form, it was incorrect. But because her and her friend, I won't mention their names, but they were outside, and they're both complete assholes, right? And they were outside on carts, and my supervisor tells me to tell them to come inside. They need to start working on something else, and I would take their spot outside on carts. Now, they weren't even really doing carts. They were just standing out there, like, talking and looking at their phones and shit. So I go out there, right, to tell them, hey, you got to come back inside and start working on your chores for the night, and I take over on carts. Or when I say, oh, fine on carts, but I don't remember exactly what I said. But they're like, okay, we'll be in a minute. And then the girl's like, it's a girl and a guy, and the girl's like, well, can you push in a row of carts? And I can't, because I don't have a vest on, so I'm not allowed to push carts. So I just ignore her because she's...
And so you chose to be racist about it.
It's not racist!
Oh, yeah, you're right. So you chose to be sexist about it.
No. I chose to ignore her and walk away from the situation. Walk back inside. They didn't even come in. They just stood out there, not doing anything. And I mentioned that to my supervisor again. Eventually got brought in, and then we talked about it for a little bit. Tensions kind of escalated, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Eventually, they were outside on carts again, and we were all out there, and I was supposed to tell them again to go back in and try and do their job. This is like a couple hours later. Or not even a couple hours, maybe an hour later. I was like, tell them, okay, you gotta go back in, and you gotta do your chore, and I'll take over on carts. They're like, no, we're not gonna listen to you, and stuff like that. It's just like, and they're like, get off my ass, whatever. It's kind of sort of situation, and then, they were yelling at me and shit like that, and I was like, well, you guys just need to do your job.
Well, did you deserve it?
Did I deserve it?
Yeah.
No, I did not. Nobody deserved what they were doing that night.
I think he deserved it.
I did not deserve it.
I don't know what we're talking
You
about.
weren't there. Anyway.
Should have seen the
that
way
night.
he treated those children. Poor.
Anyway, report that confrontation
Homeless
to
children.
my supervisor, and later that night, the store's basically dead. And he calls a little meeting between us three and him, and the guy leaves. The guy just fucking walked off, not walked off the job, but he walked away from the situation 10 minutes into the conversation and just never came back.
Mm-hmm.
The other girl goes batshit crazy and just starts screaming at me at the top of her lungs, spewing every accusation possible out of the book. And I can't even get a word in because she's talking so loudly, and my supervisor's not even letting me talk, not even letting me plead my case. I don't think he would have let the girl plead her case if she wasn't completely batshit crazy. And this guy's my supervisor's trying to reason with her and shit, which was completely completely not necessary. You put her in her place. Somebody from the fucking pharmacy comes over and does my supervisor's job and tries to put the girl in her place. She doesn't give a fuck. She keeps yelling. Right? This is 20 minutes. Customers are going by looking at us like, what the fuck is going on here? Okay.
Meanwhile, Tyler is. He's got the blank
I was just standing
face.
here like this. I was just listening to the bullshit that was coming out of her mouth. I'm like, this is gonna be a great story to tell one day, is it not? Little awkward in that situation. In the moment, though, I will say. Eventually, when it was over, her and I actually fought more in the bottom room. Started yelling at each other again a little bit, and then she walked away. I tried to talk to my. Did not like boxing Muhammad Ali type shit. We just had another verbal confrontation or whatever. And then I go talk to my supervisor, and he doesn't even want to hear about it. I'm like, that was so fucking bullshit. He wouldn't even listen to the other side of the case. He was just completely... I don't even know what the fuck the word is.
Racist.
Yes.
What?
Maybe not.
Was he racist?
No, my supervisor's not racist.
How do you know?
In fact, that job was actually very inclusive, mainly because they just hired anybody who they felt like. So,
which is why Tyler got the job, probably.
That probably is why I got the job.
That's why he had it for like 8 years.
2.
2.
He wouldn't even hear my side of the story, and which was fucking bullshit. And then the night ended, and that was very, very exhausting. Then now the guy's gone. I think he either got fired or quit. The girl's still there. The supervisor is not a supervisor anymore.
The girl's still there, and she's still just as racist as Tyler was.
Shut the fuck up.
And their supervisor, apparently.
She's very hated by everybody there.
In the Minecraft community.
Hell yeah, she probably is. She probably doesn't play Minecraft, but...
Was she the one who was dating one of your supervisors? Tell me that story. You know what I'm talking about?
Dating one of my supervisors?
There was a girl there who the only reason she had a job there was because one of...
This is a classic story. This is
a
old
classic story.
I don't even remember their names. I don't even
Jonathan and Deborah.
They were definitely not their names.
That's their names now.
Definitely. It's okay. They might both be females.
I thought one of them was like Jeff.
One of them's name was Danny.
Danny. That's what it was.
The supervisor's name was Danny. The girl's name who got the job only because Danny worked there, I don't know the name of anymore. But she did jack shit. She would literally just walk around, not do anything. She wouldn't listen to anybody. She would refuse to do literally any work. She would only go and talk to Danny, and Danny wouldn't do anything either. Like, he would literally just be completely fucking biased towards her.
Bias!
And literally not do anything. And they were both really fucking hated. And eventually, we had a position back then, because it was in the height of COVID, called, somebody would sit out in the lobby, greet customers, clean off the carts, and...
That was you!
And a mask. I could have done that job.
I thought that was your job for a while.
It was part of my job.
Oh.
But no, because she would literally sit out there and do it all her shift. You were not supposed to do it your shift. You were only supposed to do it like a little bit in your shift. You're supposed to move around and do other stuff. No, she would sit out there literally the entire time on her phone. She wouldn't clean the carts. She wouldn't greet customers. She would sometimes do masks, very rarely, but sometimes she would. And she hurt her knee, right? She could barely walk. She shouldn't even have had the job. Yes, she got to stay there because Danny worked there. It was funny because...
Was her name Ashley?
No. When Danny left, she left too. I think she got fired once Danny left, or they both quit together. I haven't heard from the girl since. I see Danny every now and then. There. Does not recognize me at all.
Sarah?
It's not Sarah.
It's not Sarah. I'm trying to figure out who the fuck it was.
She was an asshole.
Who, Sarah?
Whoever the girl is, I don't know where.
I was like, you know a Sarah that's an asshole? Well, actually, I do.
I don't. That was a wild time.
I just realized that conveniently, both of the names that I mentioned are people that I currently work with that share those names.
Those are two.
Because the asshole I know that's name is Sarah is one of the people
those
that I work
are
with.
both very common names.
Yeah, they are, and conveniently, they both work at my place. Trace, if you're watching.
Was that the guy you were talking to at the
yes.
counter?
Yeah, at the counter, yeah.
That pointed me out for looking at Mountain Dew.
You can't be too upset about it. I mean, that's like half of your job.
Looking at Mountain Dew.
Looking at Mountain Dew. How many Mountain Dews have you reviewed? 40? Close to it?
40. Soon to be 41, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 40.
Because we're going to do for 41. Go for 41.
I mean, look how fucking crazy is that?
Thursday, we're going hunting for Overdrive. That'll be number 41.
Where's that at?
In the southwest corner of Michigan.
Who are you doing that with? Jackson?
No, the Jackson will be there. Lycan and the Myth and Eli will be there. Eli's probably going to drive because I don't want to drive.
They're going dew hunting. This is a thing that only Tyler does. Nobody else in the entire country.
And there's a Discord server of people that probably do it, but they're all dicks, and I decided to make him know that and then left.
I was there that day.
You were there that day.
Never joined the server though, because I'm not a Doom fanatic.
You did join the server, did you not?
No, I didn't join the server.
Did you?
No, Brian did.
Lucas did.
Lucas did?
Jackson did, I think, too.
Fuck.
Eli's still in there.
Because Brian was a moderator in there for a while.
Yeah, then that entire staff structure completely collapsed, and Brian was so pissed about it because the owner was extremely toxic.
It's because Tyler stopped promoting their stuff. We still get notifications. You still promote their stuff.
Look, they do post news updates still. That's the only reason why I was even staying in that server. And so...
Pringleson news update. We should do that. Daily shorts where you talk about the news.
Fuck no. Then
toxic as fuck.
Then I have to get political, and that's a big red flag.
Joe Biden was assassinated today. And that's the end of the short. Nothing else. No information, nothing. That would get crazy views if you put a video up that said Joe Biden was assassinated. You might get got by the government, though.
I get an email from the CIA.
Okay. We gotta figure out what that chick's name was.
God. I know she was...
It was a very common name. I remember it being a common name.
Was it blonde? She was blonde.
She was blonde. That definitely helps. Sam?
Can't be Sam. No.
Can't be Sam? Because that hit a certain nerve for me.
Keep that one in the tank. That might...
Sam and Danny? Oh, that might be why. That's a thing, isn't it? Sam and Danny?
What, is that a show?
I think it might be a show.
Oh! I can look it up in the archives on Discord. Actually, can I? God,
it would be in mods chat, I think, right?
Maybe.
Look up Sam.
Here,
I'll do it too. We're gonna find this person's name, and we're gonna dox them. We're not gonna dox them. But we're gonna call them out. No last names. Search.
Page 1
Sam.
of 909.
Mentions Slick Nick. Alex.
No.
What were the other ones that I said? Ashley. Well, there's someone threshed Apple quotes apparently for Ashley.
Okay.
Sarah without an H and with an H. Oh, there's a bunch.
It's definitely not Sarah.
God,
who was her name?
I'm gonna look up Barbara.
It was definitely not Barbara.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely not Barbara. God damn it. Caitlin?
Oh, no.
How do you spell Caitlin?
Definitely not Caitlin.
K-L-Y-N-N. Nope. We'll get back to you. We'll figure it out.
Okay, this is a very early story that I surprisingly did not tell in the video, but how I got the fucking scar on my middle finger. It's hard to see.
How I got the scar on my middle finger. It's hard to see. Look a little bit closer.
Yeah, you can see
the scar on my... You can see it.
Yeah.
See the scar on my middle finger?
Yeah, I know, right? It's a great one. But basically, this is early when I started working there, and we were pushing carts. Like, it was a group thing, like called Power Hour. Everybody goes out and pushes carts to bring them inside at night. And I was standing there. It was super fucking hot that night. And so I'm standing in there.
I looked up Kroger. I might be able to find it. You keep talking.
Okay.
It'll be... How long ago was it?
Oh, this is so long ago. Like, back to 2020. But anyway, I was standing there and I put my hand on the door, right? It was like our automatic doors. And I put my hand there to rest it, and then a customer walks in, the door opens, and the door just goes...
I just read one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. You continue your story and I'll bring this back up.
Ripped a ton of skin off my middle finger. It was bleeding like crazy. I put paper towel around my finger for the night because we only had a little bit left. Then I went home and cleaned it up. And now the scar is still there. That was one of the earliest stories. I'm surprised they didn't tell that. Because that was a pretty iconic one for sure. But yeah, it was a huge chunk of skin got taken off.
There's this quote in here, right? So I looked up Kroger to try to find this chick's name. November 16th, 2020. This is from Tyler. I'm considering pizza delivery after Kroger.
Oh, I know why that's there. I know why that's there. I was like, it was a Sunday. I was on carts. It was a Sunday, and some guy looks at me and is like, "This looks like a shit job," and I'm like, "It can be." So he pulls out a business card for Fat Boys and hands it to me. Delivery driver, 15 an hour plus tips. I'm like, this is the greatest job ever, right? 15 an hour plus tips to drive everywhere, deliver pizzas. You know how many awesome stories I could have gotten out of that?
I got delivery. You probably would have gotten a lot.
I got talked out of it, but damn, I considered it.
Okay.
You got to go back to like 2020.
I am in 2020. Talk about the time where you got run down by a robber.
Oh yeah. So this is a scary experience that I got there. I was on carts one night, and I was standing in the lobby, stuff, and then I hear the alarms go off for stuff that is for when somebody unauthorized things coming out the door. These two guys come out wearing hoodies, and they've got 2 carts full of vodka that they obviously stole. They stole like fruits and other stuff as well. My dumbass self stands in their way because I'm standing right in front of the entrance door, and I stand right in their way to try and block them from leaving. And so when that happens, they literally like trying to get around me and stuff like that, and they're like, no. I'm like, you can't turn around, go buy it, whatever. And then one of them fucking shoved me out of the way, almost fell over, right? And then they leave and they get away with that shit. And so then, but because there was physical contact between me and them, my supervisor was forced to call the cops, and then I had to get a police report taken, which was insane.
They almost arrested him for being racist.
That was a crazy night. I remember that just being like the tip of the scale for like fucking everything that happened that night.
After that day,
I think my boss dropped a bombshell that someone died in the parking lot earlier that day. Right before that happened.
Somebody died in the parking lot?
Yeah, there's people died in that parking lot.
What the hell?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know how. I didn't ask for elaboration.
What the fuck?
If you know the parking lot I'm talking about, you know that it's one of the most dangerous parking lots in the entire United States of America. Just chocked full of stupid drivers and stupid stupid intersections and stop signs that do nothing and everything. Weird people parking everywhere. There's carts everywhere and everything. So honestly, I'm not surprised somebody has died in the parking lot. It was a little bit shocking to hear, but it was crazy. And I don't remember what else happened that night. I think there were some confrontations about wearing the orange vests, and that's what led to him dropping the bombshell that people died in that parking lot.
Shit. January 7th, 2021. Probably the greatest moment in my time at Kroger just happened. This is from Tyler, obviously. Someone who was gone for a month came back and got his thank you credit, and he spent it all on candy. Him, and 2 others loaded a cart of candy and 1 case of Mountain Dew that totaled $152.
I remember that. His name was Gil. Shout out to Gil.
Gil from our school, Gil?
I may have been.
Younger than us, Gil?
Yeah, he's a year younger than us.
Yes, that Gil then. I know that Gil.
Yeah, he used to work there, fucking beast. And then he quit. And then they convinced him to come back. When he came back, he was an absolute asshole. They dated an even larger asshole who was there for only a week.
January 4th, 2021. New Dew flavor out. Major Melon. It's been fucking so long since then.
Anyway, so he comes back after like being gone for a long fucking time, and he had a bunch of thank you credit built up. So me and 2 other people, along with him, decide he wants to spend it all on candy and like just use it all up in one night. So after work, we just get a shitload of candy and everything else off the shelves and just throw it through the U-Scan. And I got to take like 2 big things of M&M's home, alongside like a bunch of other stuff. I gave a girl a ride home that night.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's
And then he
kind of
had sex.
I did not. I forgot to talk about the time I stole Tic Tacs from the store.
Why did you steal Tic Tacs from
It
the
was
store?
unintentional. Okay.
Was it today? I
No.
saw Tic Tacs at the store.
No.
We went to Kroger today.
No, these were when was that? That was around the time that the candy thing happened. But I was searching through the stuff we had to take back on the shelves because customers didn't want them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a thing of Coca-Cola Tic Tacs. Never heard of them before.
Oh, I've had those.
And they
I remember
were,
when we sold them at my place.
and then
It was in like early December,
yeah.
late January. It was like the time
It
frame
was
we
like last
existed.
year or whatever. But like
Yeah, it was like last year, pretty much. In the winter
I
period.
didn't see any. I looked around for others that might have been on the shelf that I could buy after work. It's like, well, this is the only one. I think I'm going to put it in my pocket and buy it after work. Well, I walked out without paying for it because I forgot it was in my pocket. So, yeah, that happened. I ate the Tic Tacs. They're gone now. And nobody knows any about that. That was pretty fucking wild to all things considered. Anyway, that was a crazy story. I've seen a lot of people steal stuff from there, though.
As I'm scrolling through here to try to find this chick's name, it is surprising how many times you and Brian get into arguments.
It is very, very often. Well, it was often. I won't say it's often.
At Dan
now.
Snake, did you get the Peter emote done yet? What the fuck? Anyway, what's another good story you have? I know you have a bunch more. You've told
I
me
got
a
a ton of
shit ton of them.
Oh my god! About the time somebody's ass got whooped in the parking lot because he
You talk about
some-
Nick breaking the cart record.
the cart record. That was a great night. That was probably one of my most favorite nights working there, because I was saying I'm gonna break this record. Because I saw it on YouTube. There was this guy who pushed like 85 carts. No, not 85. He pushed like 40 or 50 carts. I'm like, well, I can break that, right? Somebody in the comments section of that video said that they pushed 73 at one time. And I'm like, well, that's beatable, right? So one night at work, I just load up a bunch of carts. I get up to like 30, and I can't push them, right? And Nick has already clocked out. A guy I used to work with, his name's Nick. He's been you'll see the video on my channel, but he's sitting in his car waiting to leave because he had just clocked out of his shift. He gets back out of his car and says, move aside, folks. I'm going to break this record here. We load up 78 carts to try and for him to push. He couldn't push them, got down to 77, still couldn't get it to budge. 76, though, he got it to budge. And that, watching him press all of his weight, about 300-something pounds of himself, pushing against these 76 carts of steel,
Crazy.
rolling them along the parking lot, it was just the most epic thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. I gave him a piece of paper as a reward, like a folded up piece of paper. A customer had given it to me earlier that day. I don't remember what it said. I remember it said something funny. I don't remember exactly what it said. I can't check it. It's not. I can't see the paper on. I can't see what the contents of the paper are in the video or anything. And I don't remember. It was almost 2 years ago now, but that was epic. Nobody's ever even tried to break that cart record since. It never even come close. The most I could push comfortably was 10. What they wanted us to do was between 5 and 8. The most I could do comfortably was 10. I sometimes would be able to do 11 or 12.
This is a Tyler moment. Sorry, let me interrupt real quick. Tyler wanted to make a wall of fame for everybody who has been on his YouTube channel.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
12/7/2020. Yeah, I was thinking of an actual wall of fame for everybody else who's been on the channel. And you were... Because I read just Noah, and at the time I wasn't a mod. And so I obviously didn't read this, and I was like, they're talking about me. He was going to put me in a wall of fame. And Lieutenant, RIP.
Rip to that ass.
R.I.P. Anyway, keep talking.
That was an epic night. What other funny... Oh, I forgot to talk about the fight that happened in the parking lot one time. This lady and this guy were getting into an argument, right? About, I don't even know what the hell the argument was about. I was on carts when this happened, And eventually the guy gets into his truck and just drives away. The guy walked away to get to his truck, which was parked in the actual parking lot. The lady gets in her car. She's parked on the curb. Lady gets in her car, fucking floors it, does a U-E back to the parking lot and tries to run over the guy. Meanwhile, I'm standing there completely helpless. Nothing I can do, right? And then she fucking drives away after the guy confronts her. She drives away, and the guy's like freaking out, like, can you do something? Can you do something? I'm going to go get somebody to help. But by the time help actually arrived, both of them were gone. I was probably caught on the security camera. I have no clue what they were fighting about, honestly. No, I don't have a clue. Like, I was watching them argue. I thought they were trying to take a picture. But no, they were, like, arguing, and then the guy walked away and shit. That was a crazy experience. There was another experience where...
You know what I should have looked up? Danny. That would have taken me straight to it. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, there was a lot of fights there. There's a few other altercations.
All I have is Danny DeVito. How do you spell Danny?
D-A-N-N-Y.
Okay, yeah. That's not going to help. Just Danny DeVito. Supervisor. Or? How do you spell supervisor? Let us know in the comments section down below.
Supervisor. O-R.
O-R? Okay.
What did you do?
No, that's not right. No, I hit supervisor. Never mind. Supervisor.
This one time this lady's got her car got egged. There were frequent customers in this.
Okay. This might be it. I think I might have found it. Keep talking.
Okay. This lady's car got egged. Like, it was one side just caked in eggs. It was insane. They were frequent customers. That lady's mom got into an argument with somebody else's mom over her grandson being in the car while she was shopping, even though it was the middle of the night. So that was crazy. And then...
This is not at all...
Oh my god, yeah, there was a lot of that shit. That family wasn't really the nicest family to begin with. They were hardcore Republicans, so not always the best people to be around, but I don't think she deserved to have her car egged. I don't know what their full background is or anything like that. I just saw them around the store a bunch buying stuff. Mostly probably doing online shopping for extra cash, but who knows what it was for. There were a few other frequents that I didn't like. There was this one lady who smoked all the fucking time. She wouldn't wear a mask when we required them, and she did the online shopping service. And she had really bad ADHD, so she would have to, not ADHD, OCD. And she would have to bag her groceries. Well, this one time she didn't say that she wanted to bag them. She always said that she wanted to bag them. So one time she didn't. So I start bagging them, thinking, okay, well. And then she throws a huge fit. I got like 2 things in the bag, and she throws a huge fit, takes both the things out of the bag, throws them onto the belt.
Jesus Christ.
And then she screams at me for not doing things that are pre-specified. Like, I don't know, you lady. Do it yourself. So then I walk away. I was all fucking pissed, right? She was a character. She would always smoke. She always broke the rules. Everybody knew her. Everybody loved her for no reason whatsoever. There was this other guy who came in. There's few other people. There was another online shopper that came in all the time. He was pretty cool. There was this guy who looked like Boogie that came in all the time. He smelt like the inside of a Cracker Barrel.
What the fuck?
That's the best way I can put it. He would always...
Wild.
They would ride the cattle bus over, or they get a ride from somebody else sometimes. But he and his mom would come in and buy groceries all the time. He looked exactly like Boogie. Like, he was overweight. He had the beard. He walked the exact same way. He was about the same height. All that sort of stuff. But every time he'd come in, his mom would force him to try and they would buy some healthy stuff, but they would also buy some not healthy stuff. Maybe try and lose weight. I don't know. His legs were not in the greatest shape. I won't talk about his legs because that's just not fair. But
12/12/2020. Today I learned that Kroger actually does have a capacity limit.
he had lines outside the store. I'll get to that in a minute. That's how the guy getting his ass beat in the parking lot got.
It was that day?
No, that was on Christmas Eve, but it was because
okay.
of that. Because of the capacity. But anyway, he smelled so bad, I remember. But they seem like nice people. Like, I never talked to him. Where I think his mom smoked and whatever. So I hope he does lose the weight. There was another guy who came in who was older than the guy. He was fat, but he was really nice. I think he had a lot of health problems. He would be great to get on a podcast, I think, because I think he's been through so much. He has so many awesome
Doug.
stories. That's not
Once
Doug.
again, we're asking you to come on our
It's
podcast.
not Doug.
Doug, we'll do it in person. No, we won't. Fuck that. I'll never
really,
ever
really
do
cool.
that ever.
We had a lot of fun regulars though. That got into
I have a lot of fun regulars too.
Anyway, so we did have a capacity limit. We have to have lines outside the store. It happened only a few times, but this one time it happened on Christmas Eve, and this guy, somebody stole some guy's phone in the line waiting to get into the store. So everybody else in line ganged around this guy and absolutely beat the crap out of him in the parking lot. And they had to call the cops and everything. That was a wild experience. I didn't actually see it happen, but I got told what happened a little bit later, which was crazy. And when we had lines, pushing carts was just absolutely horrendous.
I found something weird about Kroger. It's a Buzz Lightyear gif where he does the yeah thing. Anyway,
What did you find?
10/18/2020. Work never ceases to amaze me. So I'm on carts and I see one of our managers talking to a girl and a guy. I head inside with the carts and it turns into this girl shouting racial slurs.
Oh my! I remember that.
Go.
I remember that. It was this couple. They were at the entrance, and this couple was arguing with one of our managers. Well, it turns out they had threatened to shoot up the store.
Oh, what the fuck?
They
What?
threatened to shoot up the store. At least the guy had. I don't know if the girl had, but so they were refused entry. The manager was standing out there refusing entry, which is
Right.
reasonable. The girl throws a huge fucking fit. They're like swinging at the manager, and they're fucking saying they're gonna kill them. You know, we gotta get in there. They're trying to go in the other entrance. They got managers blocking both doors now. And the cops were called. Eventually, the cops got there. The cops found guns in their pants. They had guns. Both of them were armed. They could have drawn a gun and shot at them at any point.
Tyler could have died that
Thank
day.
God they didn't, right? Oh my God, I do remember that. That was
Jessica, maybe?
absolutely, it was not Jessica. There was a Jessica that did work I know about, and she was a character. Complained all the fucking time, made everything about her. So I'm glad she's gone. That's not that.
At what point you typed in all caps on November 19th, 2021 in school, Jessica. And then following is Jessica Biel and Megan Fox wearing nothing but their socks is all I want for Christmas this year.
Oh, it's
Well, that's not practical. Spending a week in Mexico with some black guys and some blow is all I want for Christmas this year. Ah, that sounds terrific. How about you, kids? I would like a pair of skates, and then I'll go out skating. But I really don't know how to skate. Ha ha! I want a Lexus all in pink and a dad who doesn't drink.
that's lyrics to a Family Guy Christmas song.
Why?
I used to do that all the time on the channel or on the server.
Oh, I clicked on the Jessica in all caps. Jessica, did you sleep with your goddamn teacher?
Oh, that's a fucking meme.
That's what it is,
It's
yeah.
a fucking meme.
I didn't know her name was Jessica, though.
her
God
name-
damn it.
Her name was not Jessica. There's a
Something
different-
so generic.
What was the name? Still trying to figure that out. But
Still haven't even looked up.
let's think of some other funny stories I can tell.
Ooh, if I look up work.
We had an upstairs portion of the store that I did not find out until like an hour. Like not an hour, a year after I started working there. It was hot up there, but they found an old Pepsi bottle that was up there for like 1998 or whatever. They've just been laying up there. And there's a bunch. It's called the archive room. It wasn't really a room. It was more just like an extra level to the store. We stored stuff up there sometimes and whatever.
They snorted stuff up there sometimes.
Damn right, buddy. Things would get funky up there because there's no security cameras. But
yeah,
there was only a few places in the store that did not have security cameras. The bathrooms, obviously, but customers were going there. The bottom room closet didn't have security cameras, so I would go in there often and check my phone and take a breather or whatever. And then there would be the upstairs area didn't have any, but pretty much everywhere else in the store did. So it was pretty hard to be on your phone. But with my high status, I could be on my phone whenever I wanted as long as I kept working.
Tell me about the break room. You got any funny break room stories?
Yeah, when I lifted I'd say about 150-pound bag of trash out of the trash can and it broke all over the fucking floor. It was filled with rotting chicken.
Oh, what the fuck?
That was disgusting, and I had to clean it up by hand. Thank God there were gloves.
By hand, too. That's even fucking worse.
The break room got a renovation. Really didn't really get it. We got walls painted and stuff, but it smelled always had a very weird smell to it every time. And there would be, they would always bring damaged the product back there, but it was still usable. There was a TV back there that had like 2 channels on it, because they didn't feel like
the news and sports.
That's basically it, and maybe some old people TV reality shows were from the 50s.
Old people reality shows
from the 50s,
where old people fight to the death.
We had 2 microwaves for no reason.
Why do you have 2 microwaves?
I don't fucking know.
They have a coffee maker?
They both sucked. Yes, we did have a coffee.
They both sucked. Well, you gotta combine them into one microwave.
We had 1 fridge, then we got a second fridge, but kept the old fridge. The new fridge came with a freezer. There were lockers. Nobody ever used the lockers. The tables were like off level, so they were like wobbly and stuff. We had a gumball machine back there. Coat racks to hang your clothes on and whatever. And it did its job. It served its purpose. It was a kind of like a little outcast area in the back area of the store. Like you had back in the back of the store, there would be bathrooms for the workers. There would be a spot. There's a meat cooler.
The Discord search sub function just stopped working.
The produce cooler, the dairy cooler, the frozen cooler, and then the rest of the area was kind of just like this hot, sweaty mess. But then you walk in the break room and it had air conditioning and stuff, so it was nice. It was a cooler, hot thing.
Tyler, okay, so this is something that Tyler's told me. So he gets a lunch break, right?
I do.
This motherfucker, I remember at one point he told me that he buys an entire can of Pringles and eats the entire can.
So I do. If you work 6 hours, 6 hours or less, you only get 1 break. If you're an adult, if you're a minor, you get a lunch at anywhere from 5 hours and up.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's 6 hours and 15 minutes and up for adults for a lunch. So I go out and do a lunch. But when I worked only 6 hours on Sundays and I worked 10 to 4, I had 1 break. So I'd have to buy something to eat, and you couldn't buy stuff on the clock, obviously, and they were very, very strict about that. So I'd have to punch out, race up, grab the Pringles that I wanted, because Pringles are really easy to eat in one sitting because they're not as big, and they're easy to put in your car if you close them up easier.
Pringles, yeah.
And then
although don't leave them in your car. Sorry. But this one time I had salt and vinegar Pringles. I left them in my car on a really hot day, and I didn't think that it would change anything about them. And it's not like a fucking ice cream or something. It didn't melt like my fucking ibuprofen that just melted in the bottle, and that was just a fucking gelatin liquid. But I opened it up, and it was fine. And I tasted one. It was disgusting. I don't know what the fuck caused that, but I can guess it was probably the heat, but it's just a fucking potato. I mean, maybe the vinegar is something weird when it heats up. I don't know. I've never experienced anything that terrible before.
Yeah. But no, I would down a whole can of Pringles over my break. Not my lunch, my break.
4/20/2022.
Nice.
Probably the craziest sequence of 4 hours I've ever been through.
Was this it? Oh my god.
Worker rambles about cashiering at 16 to her mom on the phone. Said girl spills a full mop bucket flooding the click list area, proceeds to not clean it up.
I think this was it. Keep reading. I know, I remember this day.
Guy who clearly watches too much Fox News rambles on in the parking lot about Elmo and
I remember that guy!
throws a box and yells to someone about their windshield wipers. Bought 2 Pepsi Nitros. Guy stopped on a blinking orange to let me go and wouldn't move until I did.
That was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't the night I got accused of workplace discrimination, but I do remember that night. I don't remember about the lady. The girl. The girl was rambling on because we had no staff, but she didn't want to do anything. She was rambling on about there was no people to do anything.
No, I found it. But since she accused me of workplace discrimination and she's a girl and I'm a guy, who knows? Also, I also have that she isn't a very liked worker and doesn't have the greatest track record at the store. It was that same one. No, because this is on 3/23.
Okay, so it was before.
So it was a different time.
Let me get back talking about this random night because she does this, right? And then there was a spill that she had to clean up. So what she does, she spilts the mop bucket full of water all over the UScan/click list area. Doesn't even fucking clean it up. Me and another guy have to drop what we're doing, go over, use 15 bags of Spill Magic to clean it all up. It goes under the bookshelves, goes under the UScan registers, goes under the cigarette case, goes everywhere. Finally get that cleaned up, and then she just fucking disappeared. And then I'm out on carts later that night, and here comes this fucking conspiracy Alex Jones theorist, whatever. Walks out of the store. He's mumbling random shit, talking about random crap. Picks up a box off the street, chucks it in the middle of nowhere, and then he screams at this guy just sitting at the door with about his windshield wipers going off.
2/14/2022. Operation I Can't Believe I'm Gonna Ask a Girl Out.
Oh, God, don't talk about that.
We'll save that for February. Anyway, continue about this stupid
He
fucking
was a
shit.
motherfucking... Oh, my God. And then, what was he talking about? Read that one off again about the conspiracy guy.
He was rambling about Elmo, you said.
Rambling about Elmo. Maybe he was rambling on about Trump. That was the only one that makes sense. I don't remember everything he said, but he was just crazy. He was aggressive and really crazy. I stayed away from him. He threw a box. I do remember him throwing a box, and he yelled at somebody's car about their windshield wipers going off when it wasn't even raining. And then I'm driving home from work, right? And you know what this street is. It's up on the light, and I'm coming up on the street, and the street going the other way is like they have the right of way the whole time. They're supposed to keep going. No, this guy.
12/22/2021. Tyler, this is all he says. Talking to girls. That's it. Just out of context.
And this motherfucker stops on a yellow light that's like a blinking yellow, just fucking stops and lets me go when I have a stop sign. Like, thank God it was the middle of the night and it didn't cause a huge fucking pile up or whatever. What the fuck, dude?
You've done a lot at Quality Dairy over these 2 years of you working there. Because you started in July?
July 15th, 2020 was my first day. July 8th, 2022 was my last day.
It's almost been entirely 2 years then.
Yep. It's crazy.
Crazy. I cannot... There's so much that we haven't even talked about.
What the fuck?
What? Thanks, like and Miffrey. Anyway, there's so much that we haven't talked about. There's so much that Tyler probably doesn't even remember.
No.
I can't confirm that the following happened since I wasn't there, but apparently the girl had to be carried out by 3 people because she refused to leave.
Oh, yep, I was told about this.
What is this? Is this Kroger as well?
This was an employee I think she had autism because she would come in and all she would do was bag. But she was very, very strict about what lane she wanted to be on and when she would bag. And I think she got fired because she was too much of a... I think she was just not... I think they decided to fire her for God knows what reason. And I think she refused to leave. Like, she did not want to leave. So they had to literally carry her out of the store. I think drag her, carry her out of the store, whatever, to get her out. I can't confirm that actually happened because I was not there. But that's what I was told. And knowing her probably is true. So...
You had to be a bodyguard for some girl who got harassed?
Yes. Well, yeah, a lot of people got sexually harassed while there by random customers.
Dude.
A manager slapped a 16-year-old girl's ass one time.
What the fuck?
I got told about that. That was fucking creepy.
That's creepy as fuck!
Somebody else hit on another girl who was 16 at the time that happened, and she hit in the back, so I had to escort her up to the front so she could report that to management. But yeah, I mean, there were so many people that just got hit on there. Like, these old men would come in and hit on these teenage girls or whatever. Or, like,
yeah, that's fuck.
That is completely fucked. I mean, there's a lot of those fuckers that come in there just to buy cigarettes or alcohol with their EBT cards or with cans they pick up off the street and leave. And they just wander around the streets and do whatever. And it's really creepy. Not as creepy as working in some other stores, probably, but... Thankfully, that never happened to me. But I mean, it's scary to be in that situation and know that person that's doing that shit is in your proximity, in your position, or not in your position, your place. So,
I will find this.
well, we should probably wrap it up soon because we gotta start.
We gotta start doing that stupid video that we're gonna do.
Yeah, because Eli's gotta come over.
And try it.
Wondering when we're done. So. And if we eat it too late, then it's not going to settle well with me, and that's not going to be pretty to be a part of. So. So yeah.
Kroger's crazy.
That's
we went there today. I know that you guys are crazy, and I know that you guys are fucked up, because the 2 times recently that I've been to Kroger, one was an old lady asking random people for their Kroger cards for me, who doesn't have one, and the other time was today, where half the people who worked there looked at you and said, "Oh boy, you shouldn't have come in today. You should have waited at least 3 months." So I'm wondering what the fuck's gonna happen as you continue to go to Kroger to buy shit there.
But yeah, we should probably wrap this up since we gotta do our thing.
It's just so wild. I got 2 more pages. Hold on. If I can't find it here, then holy fuck, Brian. Istanbul was Constantinople. That's what it is. It's just a copy pasta.
Huh. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Dan Snake. Spoiler. I don't know what that is.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Okay, I can't find anything.
So, that's some of my stories. Again, anybody who's worked there with me.
Fuck you.
No.
Maybe not all of them.
The
but
people were cool.
A lot of them.
Most of the people were cool. But if you got any other funny stories, comment them down below. Or we'll get you on the podcast and you can talk about that. Well, we gotta go make dinner, so.
Yeah, dinner. We're making Mountain Dew casserole.
Video coming soon. Thanks
for watching this episode of Strollin and Trollin. We will see you next time. As soon as my mouse decides to work. We will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye! Say goodbye, Tyler.
Bye.